There are moments in a nation's life that becomes a turning point, not because of what we won, but because what we discovered. In 1999, after 527 Indian soldiers gave their lives in Kargil, we won the war, but we also uncovered the hard truth. India could fight a war, but we couldn't do it without asking other countries for spare parts. General VP Malik, the then army chief, said it bluntly. Our supply lines were choked, our allies were absent, and even our best artillery didn't work because we lacked the parts. It wasn't just a military vulnerability, it was a national embarrassment. Because no country that dreams of strategic autonomy can fight its battles with borrowed strength. So here's the question we must ask. Can a country truly call itself sovereign if it relies on foreign countries to defend its borders? This is not a question of arms, it's a question of mindset. And for too long we lived in denial, dependent on others, spending billions, while our own industries, scientists and startups watched from the sidelines. In 1962, when India faced China, our soldiers carried outdated Second World War rifles, while China had automatic weapons. The result, we not only lost territory, we lost faith in the system. A Department of Defense production was set up. More budget was given to DPSUs, but nothing really changed. Why? Because there was no role for the private sector, no incentive for innovation, and above all, no urgency. From 1960 to 1989, our imports grew 10 times. By 2010, we were the largest importer of defense equipment in the world. Something finally shifted in 2014. For the first time, defense became not just a policy domain, but a strategic mission. Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and a bold vision to transform how India thinks, builds, and equips its armed forces. The rules changed, and the new procurement policy favored Indian-designed and Indian-made weapons. Thousands of items were placed on a no-import list. FDI norms were relaxed, not for capital but for technology. The message was clear. India will no longer wait. India will build. But let's not assume this transformation was just about DPSUs. In fact, 60% of India's defense exports today come from the private sector. And the real game changer? A program called iDEX, Innovation for Defense Excellence. Here's how it works. The armed forces submit real-world problems and challenges. Startup propose solutions, and the government provides seed grants from 1.5 crore to 25 crores. And this simple idea has unleashed a revolution. Startups like Big Bang Boom, ideaForge. Big Bang Boom Solutions built anti-drone systems and body armor from a 1.5 crore grant to now 100 plus crore orders. Q New Labs developed quantum encryption systems from an iDEX pitch to Indian Army contracts. And ideaForge started as an IIT project. Today, it's a drone company listed in the stock exchange supplying UAVs to the Indian military. This is what happens when you trust your people. And yet, the real challenge isn't in the labs or factories, it is in our thinking. Will we trust Indian innovators with frontline responsibility? Can we shift from buy tested to build brave? Will our bureaucracy move as fast as our battlefield demands? Dr. Kalam once set a goal of 70% indigenization in the next 10 years. We missed it, not because of vision, but because of inertia. Let's not miss it again, because the world has changed. Russia is under sanctions. The West is now transactional. Pakistan is bankrupt like always, but is nuclear. And China is preparing as always. In such a world, reliance is risky. And India's sovereignty must not be subject to foreign export controls. When we build our own aircraft carriers, tanks and missiles, we don't just create deterrence, we send a loud and clear message. India decides, India defends, and India delivers. So what next? India has taken the first few steps towards Atmanirbharta, but the runway ahead is longer and far more ambitious. The momentum we have built must now be scaled into a national movement. Here's how. iDEX must go from 600 startups to 6,000 startups. Why should only 600 startups solve Indian military problems when there are over 100,000 tech entrepreneurs across India? We need to scale iDEX like a national defense innovation mission, just like ISRO and UPI. Imagine a Bharat where every college, every tech park, every incubator hosts a startup working on drone swarms, directed energy weapons, or battlefield medicine. Let defense challenges be thrown open like hackathons. Let soldiers meet coders. Let warfighters and entrepreneurs co-create solutions. Innovation needs to be a democratic force, and iDEX is our gateway. Number 2, defense corridors must be academic, industry, and services. Right now, our defense corridors are infrastructure zones. What they need to become are ecosystems. Think IT is embedded with DRDO labs. MSMEs building a component for ISRO and HAL. Military officers on sabbatical mentoring startups. We don't just need manufacturing hubs, we need idea factories. Places where the line between theory and battlefields fade, where a student project today becomes a missile guidance systems tomorrow. Thirdly, we need tech transfer from DPSUs to private innovators, and that must also be incentivized. Let's face it, many defense PSUs are sitting on decades of R&D patents and capabilities. But most of this tech is locked away, unused, unpublished, and unknown to private sector. What if we flip this? Imagine if HAL or BEL releases select legacy IP to Indian startups under a license to commercialize model. Imagine if old tech was reimagined with AI, data, and automation. Just as ISRO opened space to private players, DPSUs must become enablers, not just manufacturers. We must write new doctrines based on indigenous capabilities, and today our war doctrines often rely on important assumptions based on the platforms we purchase. But what happens when the platform is built in India? Shouldn't the doctrine evolve with it? If you were building drone swarms, our doctrines should reflect swarm warfare. If you have AI-powered ISR systems, we must reimagine how we monitor and respond to threats. This is about strategic confidence. We must stop copying NATO's playbook and start writing India's. At the heart of all this, trust that Indian minds can imagine, trust that Indian hands can build, trust that Indian systems can deliver. Because sovereignty isn't just a flag on a tank, it's knowing that every nut, bolt, chip, and algorithm was built with your own conviction. You can import technology, you can import hardware, but you cannot import sovereignty. And that is the DOP perspective. Let's build the India that can defend the future it dreams of. Until next time, keep reimagining yourself and know that the power of change lies within you. Jai Hind.